All right, so we've got a few questions to look at here to do with derivatives and antiderivatives, mainly antiderivatives of cyclic functions. So let's go through them. So let's work through, and I will go through these questions with you. So the antiderivative of cos, we can't say that equals. We've got to either start with the antiderivative of cos 3x with respect to x equals the antiderivative of cos is sine, and we divide by the derivative of the bracket plus 3, which is 3, and then we put a plus c. Alternatively, we could have said y equals, therefore, or f of x equals, I could have said f of x equals, therefore the primitive would equal 1/3 sine 3x plus c. Find the antiderivative of this, so I'm just going to put the antiderivative with respect to x equals, and the antiderivative of sine x is negative cos, and we don't change the bracket, half x. Then we divide by the derivative of that. The derivative of divide by half is the same as multiply by 2. So to divide by half is the same as times by 2. So you've got negative 2 cos half x plus c. All right, so that's just a few simple ones. Let's get a little bit more complicated now. We've got numbers. So we integrate. The integral of sine x is negative cos x. And we're going to go from 0 to pi and 4. So you substitute pi and 4, and then substitute 0, and see what that equals. So negative cos pi over 4, and we substitute 0, negative cos 0. The cos of pi over 4 using your 1 root 2, cos of pi over 4 is adjacent over hypotenuse 1 over root 2. That's negative 1 over root 2 minus. Now cos of 0 is 1. So negative cos of 0 is minus negative 1. And so we're left with plus 1. So I'll just change minus negative. Easier just to call it plus 1. All right. The integral of cos 2x is sine 2x. And then we have to divide by the derivative of 2, so it's half sine 2x. Go from 0 to pi and 4. So we substitute pi and 4, substitute 0 and subtract. So sine of double pi over 4 is sine of pi over 2. And sine of double 0 is sine of 0. The sine of 90 degrees, sine of pi over 2 is 1. So that is 1 over 2. And sine of 0 is 0. So it's simply a half. All right, let's go to question 4. We need to draw a graph to illustrate the area. Ooh, that's different. So let's put some graph paper in the background. And let's put this as being our y-axis. Let's just extend that line a bit. All right. And let's put this as being pi over 2, pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, go negative 1, positive 1, and it's cos x. So cos x, draw that graph, will start here and it will go all right, etc. And we want just from 0 to pi and 4. So illustrate the area given by the indefinite integral. So the area is this area here from 0 to pi and 4. And that's part A. Okay, part B, I've got to draw this graph again. So let's 0 to pi over 3. Yeah, I can fit that in. So let's say -1 and 1. Pi over 3, call that pi over 2. And it's a sine x, sine 2x. So period is 2 pi over b, which is 2 pi over 2, which is pi. It will have a full cycle in pi, so it would do half a cycle by pi over 2. So that would be and it would keep going. And let's call this pi over 3, 2 pi over, that's pi over third of pi over 2 is pi over 6. 2/3 of pi over 2, pi over 3, and we want from 0 to pi over 3, so that's this area here. Above the x-axis to pi over 3, and that's the area from 0 to pi over 3 of sine 2x. Right. Find the exact value of each of the following definite integrals. Right, so that is the derivative of sine is negative cos. The integral of sine is negative cos 2x plus pi over 4, and we've got to divide that by 2 and go from 0 to pi over 2. So let's substitute pi over 2, substitute 0, and get the difference. So negative cos of 2 pi over 2, that's pi, plus pi over 4 over 2, and now 0, so negative cos of 0 plus pi over 4 over 2. So we've got, this is 5 pi over 4, so negative cos divided by 2, and minus negative cos of pi over 4 over 2. Okay, so pi over 4, 5 pi over 4 is in the third quadrant, so it's negative. And so pi over 4 is 1 over root 2, as we had before up here. Cos of pi over 4 is 1 over root 2. So cos of 5 pi over 4 is negative 1 over root 2. So we've got a negative 1 over root 2. That's a positive over 2. Minus negative, and cos of pi over 4 is 1 over root 2 over 2. Let's simplify these negatives. 2 negatives make a positive. So that's 1 over 2 root 2. And minus negative makes plus 1 over 2 root 2. So we end up with 2 over 2 root 2. and that simplifies into 1 over root 2.